the woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would I want to ask you about? So when you come in a new family, does the man accept you as well as the woman does? Or do you feel that the woman can be more open towards you, and also do they accept it, both of them? Find that you live with them?
Yeah. Oh yes, they do. They do. When they accept, they accept. Sometimes, you know, it has nothing to do with culture. I think sometimes people would present me first to the men, and then the men would say, "Oh, it's my wife's going to decide. Okay. My wife's going to decide," you know. Yeah. And sometimes it's the opposite, you know. Yeah. That has nothing to do with culture. That has to do with the relationship between men and women, and who do we choose in life, you know, who takes the decision in the house and everything. But it is, I think it is only a woman could have done what I'm doing.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I know that some men would have not left their young wife with a young man for the day and go and work, and come back in the evening, leaving a young man, because I was, I was 33 when I started, and then sleeping in the same room, you know?
Yeah.
All sleeping together in the same room. I've had places with the men slept on the floor beside a bed, and I slept with the woman in the bed, you know, when because that was honor and whatever. Just the condition of sharing the night, only a woman could have done that, and accept that, and the conversation. So naturally, it's all very subtle, you know, what's happening in a family. You know, the family is the first place where we learn power, you know, who's got the power in the in the house, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's the first place to learn how to deal with. And sometimes it's the children that have the power. Sometimes it's a woman. Sometimes it's a man. It varies very much from one or the other. And sometimes I have been friends with every member of the family. There was a friendship, open friendship. The conversations were unique, and with every one of them. And so that has been very, very interesting. I've had no problem with men in the families that I've been with. I have absolutely no problems with men. I had no kind of problems in that sense as a woman and as a young woman when I was doing it. So and also the children, you know, I'm a free spirit. So I always say, you know, when I go into a family, the person that has a free spirit, we look at each other and we recognize each other.
Yeah.
So there has been great love affairs with some of the children.
Yeah.
That we just looked at each other. We just knew everything, you know.
I know that. It's amazing. It's Oh, I get so emotional. Oh, I have. So you of course you ask a lot about them, but do they ask you about you and your life and your projects? They're as curious as you are.
Yeah. The only one that didn't ask any question was in the Amazon. Because the interpreter had left me for 2 days by myself with the Chabonneau. There was a tribe of about 100 people. And when he came back, I said, do they have any question? And they didn't have any question. They had invented my life. So they told them my life without asking any questions. Yeah. But it was very interesting because the questions, naturally, that's why it's important to know where you're from. Because when you travel, everybody's asking you where you're from.
Yeah.
And me, I had left, before 15 years old, I'm nowhere. Let's say I'm nowhere, you know, in the sense of belonging. I'm not in Canada. I'm nowhere. I'm in the forest with nuns. And then I'm going to Europe. And there's something in me that I'm very European. I must have had a Europe life before because I feel very, very good in Europe. And and then I came back. So I did not have, and then I went back to Europe. So I was in Paris when I had this idea, and I left from Paris. And then they started to ask me about questions, and then I had to tell them about my family. And I come from Quebec, you know, where families of 12 and 15 and 16 and 18, you know, we all had an auntie that had 20 kids, you know. So I started to tell about myself, and then I became Québécoise. It is only then that I became Québécoise.
Yeah.
Because the history of Quebec has nothing to do with the history of Canada.
No.
And so I don't travel as a Canadian. I travel as a Québécoise. My story is from Quebec. And so that I thought that was very interesting. And also the story of a free woman. You know, I did not realize at the time, I did not realize I was one of the first women traveling that way and everything. But and I was free. I was raised free to think, free to talk, free to make love. I was free. Then I get to borders where and very, very at the beginning, Chile, Argentina, I stopped talking about my own freedom. Okay. It was nearly indecent. Yeah. You know, I find it was nearly indecent, and realized that my really profound freedom would only be when, you know, there would be freedom for all the women. Yeah. You know, when kind of a world without borders, and I stopped talking about my freedom at that time. I thought it was indecent. Yeah.
Do you think that some of the places you have visited, like 30 years ago, the one you started with, do you think that they have changed with the time? Or also, even if it was in rural areas and often poverty?
Well, yeah, the thing is, the majority now is urban. You know, most of the people have gone in the cities. Yeah. So there's, you know, very rare now other countries where the majority is rural. Yeah. And so you know, Chile but Argentina, they had incredible economic. Since I was there, it went up and down economically. When you look at Central America, Central America has become one of the most dangerous places in the world.
I know.
You know.
Yeah.
So
and it was not when you were there. It was not dangerous when you traveled. Okay.
It was I'm trying. I'm going to your Guatemala. Help me. Nicaragua. Nicaragua. There was the war. Still, you know. I mean, the Americans they really messed this part of the world. I mean, they messed up a lot of the world, but that part of the world they just destroyed completely. Excuse me to say that, but it is a reality. So the UN did. I went to Esteli, and at Esteli there was the UN did not want me to go further than that because it would not be responsible for me. You know, it was dangerous. So I was in Esteli, and just beside the house, there was the helicopters, the war helicopters would come and park for the night. So at the end of the day, the house would just shake like this, you know. And she was also every morning, the children, she had her children. She had the children of her brother or sister that had died in a conflict. There was another one that was in the US sending money. So she had all the young people. There was a gun behind the door, and there was all bunch of teenagers in that house. Every morning, everybody was at the table listening to the news. Yeah. And if at the radio the government would have said we need everybody, she would have lost. The house would have emptied of all the young people. They would have gone to war. You know. Yeah. That was so impressive. That was so impressive to look at these young teenagers and know they would be ready to go. You know, these things, they change. Those are the things that change your life, the way you see things. And but when I did El Salvador, when we were going towards the family, in I think it was a 4-4, but there was a gun in between of us, me and the driver, because we could not trust anybody. We could not trust the army. Anybody dressed in an army suit cannot trust. You cannot trust the road bandits, that can stop you to steal everything. You cannot. You cannot trust anybody. So you're gonna have to have a gun, Yeah. So it's so it was like that. So the destroy. It's been a long way to destroy many places in the world. Yeah.
Did you feel?
It's been at it.
Did you feel? Were you afraid? Did you feel frightened? Yeah. No.
Me, I'm usually I know I have been afraid when I'm laying in bed, but when I'm standing up on my 2 feet, I don't know I'm afraid. In Guatemala, at one point, the bus was braking on the road, braking. Suddenly, it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm just dead. I'm not going to get nowhere. So the bus stops at a village, and I say, "Okay, is there a hotel?" They said, "Yes, over there." And so I go in the village, and everybody is drunk and drinking and fiesta and whatever. And I say, "Is there a hotel?" And they say left and right and left and right. And it was like, I don't remember the name of the village, but let's say it's Saint Marco, and it was the Saint Marco day.
Yeah.
So they were having and then I go in a small street, and suddenly on the corner of 2 streets, there's 8 armed men like that with their guns pointing at me,
Oh.
And I learned a lot about myself there at that time. So in my head, I go, I've got my luggage. So I put down my luggage and I say, okay, I can now run. I got my luggage. There's no hotels in the back. Where am I going to go? So I just look at them. I take my bag and I walk to them. And they've opened and they let me go through. And after that, there's a woman that came and said, "What do you want?" I said, "I want to sleep." She said, "Come to my place." and only when I was in bed that I was thinking like that. But some people are scared and they freeze. Me, when I realize that I'm not, I don't think of being scared. I think of action. You know.
Yeah. Otherwise, you haven't been able to do what you do if you have to be scared for little. It is not little things, but for all the things that can happen, you would never go anywhere.
No, we don't go anywhere. No.
Helene, what I had other questions before. I just want to ask you one question because you talked about yourself. What have you learned about yourself during the 30 years? What is your outcome after the girl before you when you started till now?
Well, learning about myself has been like a daily job for me. It's a quest, getting to be a better person, getting to know myself. When I know of, how can I improve? Where can I get help when I need? So that's been my. I think what has changed the most is my global capacity, my global view. I've got the world. I've got the world in me, in my heart, in my head, everything. So that has transformed that part of me. I cannot have my conversations has to be global in a way, because it's always global. So being local is sometimes very difficult. But my essence, I think what I've learned that is quite interesting is I've stayed who I am. My essence, my capacity of amazement. So I think that, and without my joy, also, I think I've become stronger, because to get to know humanity, you have to be strong. Getting to know humanity makes you stronger. When I have people that say, "Oh, me, I don't listen to the news anymore. I don't want to know. It's it's too bad. I don't want to know." Well, you're going to end up ignorant if you close all the information and you don't want to know, you're going to end up ignorant. And your judgment's going to be the one of an ignorant person. But if you want to know, you have to be courageous to know, you know, because looking at humanity is not easy. You cry, you laugh, you love, you get mad, you want to shake all the system, the politicians, you know, all that. Oh, you want to shake it. You get mad and you yell of all the emotions that you have in your body when you get to know humanity. And I think that's the big transformation, is to accept that, you know, to accept that I can cry and get mad.
You can't change them, but you can change the way we see the others. I think that's your strength. It's we talked about it also on the mail. Often we are afraid of what we don't know, and I think that was a question I wanted to ask you. Did you show your families pictures of other families around the world?
Well, yeah, only when I started Asia.
Okay.
Because when I started Asia, I had the South America, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so that was very, very interesting because I remember I was in the Pacific Islands. I think it was Kiribati. I don't remember which one. And we were at the airport, you know, but the airport is just outside. And we're waiting for that little plane. And then the secretary of the island, I had showed him the family of Mongolia, where there was, you know, they were cooking with horse dung and cow dung, you know, because there was no trees.
I read that.
Yeah. And then we're sitting there, and then he starts talking with the people of the island, that there's people that cook with horse dung and everything, because they did not know that it could happen that a country had no trees, you know. So they open all the luggage, the plane and the luggage, and I had to get out my book, and then they all look at the book, you know. And there was wonderful moments like that. Yeah. But it is the similarities that are that for me, what was the most amazing was the similarities. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And one of our biggest similarity is that we're all scared of the difference. So I don't think we should teach people to be tolerant towards the difference before we teach them about the similarities. And when we know we are the same, then we desire the difference, which is not the same. Yeah. So that tolerate the difference. No. That's horrible to say, tolerate the difference. You don't teach that to a child. No. You need to find all the similarities that makes you desire the difference.
That's beautiful.
And then we can sit and talk about the differences, you know. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's amazing what you have been doing, and I can listen to you forever, because I started to read all your stories, and I will really warmly recommend everybody to go to your website, read the stories, and now following them. No, actually, we should talk about Let's Meet on Earth, because we haven't talked about it. Because you have so many interesting stories. So, with all your experience and all your whatever you have gathered all these years, you have now started an organization called Let's Meet on Earth. And please tell us what it's about and what you.
Well, for me now, I mean, also what has happened, it was very utopia at the beginning when I started that, to say presenting humanity to humanity. Now the technology has made it possible, you know. So the young people, they say, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea. It's possible. It's not a dream anymore." But now I've got to put everything on the website. I called it at the beginning Families of the World, but it is more Let's Meet on Earth, getting to know each other. And so people thought I was a specialist of the family and everything. And for me, the family was a tool to get to know each other. It's in our daily life, and it brings the similarities. And so that's why I called it Let's Meet on Earth. So now the next step is to put all that on the website. And digitalize all the pictures and tell the stories and write the stories in 2 languages at least, you know. So it's a lot of work. So it never ends. And now I've started a series also, you know, online. Mm-hmm. And then I've only done twice. In April, I'm doing the third. And it is also another amazing way to share.
Yeah.
The thing is, I had not thought at the beginning, I thought of doing a book, but I had not imagined all the possibilities I would have to share that information. But now I have to find other ways and bring, I dream of a team. I need a manager. To tell you the truth,
Yeah.
I am no good at managing myself, you know.
Not very many are. We are not, as women, we are not very good at managing ourselves or branding ourselves often.
Yeah, we're good to do that for other people.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So you need a manager. So if anybody out there are looking for a job as manager.
And now it's virtual. So now there's virtual. Yeah. And I need editing. I need content editing. I think to discuss what could be possible. Also, there's a manager, but I think it could be like a film director to look at all this and look at it in an editing way. You know, what could be done with all these stories and the links that could be done and whatever. So it's there's two things: the content. And then all the technology behind the content, and it's two different worlds. It's two different worlds.
How have you started? Because we haven't even been talking about you as a photographer. We had to make another interview.
Yeah.
Because actually, you have been taking photos of all the people, of all the families, all these years. But in the beginning, it was with film rolls. I imagine now it's digital. But so you have kept.
Yeah, it was slides.
Yeah, slides. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was slides from the beginning. So I have about 10,000 slides that I need to digitalize before I can put all these in boxes and say, okay, everything has been scanned, everything is there. So, and the photographer, I had learned photography. I did not know how to do photography before I left. I did not know how to write. I did not know how to manage. I did not know how to fundraise. I did not know anything. I just did it, you know, and learned everything. Yeah. And when I learned the program Excel on the computer, I was crying, you know, and saying, I did not come to life to learn this, you know.
I'm not an Excel fan either.
And the photography, but I had 2 exhibits at the United Nations, and I have very nice photography, but I did not do photography for anything else. You know, I did not employ myself as a photographer and everything. I became photographer of that project. Yeah. So now it's very interesting because I realize it's like I have a part of history.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, now it's like a period of the world. I have the history of the world in a way, you know. Yeah. So it's and now and also all my statistics that I have it's also the possibility of bringing this statistic to life and see what are the changes that have been happening in these countries, you know, countries where they've cut 50% of all the forest, countries that have gone better and those that have not gone better. The situation of education, the situation of women has changed a lot, and it's still changing very much with all the virtual cut now. The women are, you know, change is coming very, very fast in many aspects, but still, we're still in trouble with the people in power. You know, we're still in trouble. Yeah, humanity is still in trouble. We have to find a new way to make our political representatives more responsible.
We need more women
of what they do with women, with what they do. You know what I say all the time? It is not women who need help. It's men. Yeah. Me, I promote I would like to start an international agency to help men. It is, if you help men, suddenly the things will change with women. You know, I don't understand that agency still does not exist. Men need to question themselves. They need to look at themselves, and they need to think differently, completely differently. Yeah. They have to They look at their tradition and put it out. It's over with. Times have changed.
You're so right. You're so right. Well, at some time we also have to wrap up, but I have so many things to ask you.
We can do another one. We can do another
one. I think it's amazing what you have been doing, Helene. And I would just say to everybody, you're starting the new series on the 6th of April, right? The new I will definitely sign up myself. I think it's so amazing, and so you will also be talking. So when you show slides and you talk about, you tell the stories.
I share screen. I share the story.
Yeah.
And then after each story, we have time to question and
It's amazing.
So the last time I had a woman from India, 2 from Azerbaijan, 1 from Brazil.
Yeah.
And so that is quite interesting. So I think the one in English, I put it like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I think. So for in Europe, the time is good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I will definitely. And after I met you now, I think you're such an inspiring and sparkling woman. So I can't wait to get all the stories, because I think
wonderful.
It's so
we were going to have a good time.
Yeah. We will. I will just see if I missed. Yeah, I probably missed some. Do you have a motto or a saying that guides you through life?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember. I don't remember who wrote it. I have to figure it out. But there was one long time ago, because quotes, there's so many that are wonderful, but it was like, your dreams have to be big if you don't want to forget them along the way.
Yes.
And that has been true, because I'm a person, and it's a quote that is very important for people who have a lot of ideas. You have to write all your ideas, because if your main dream is not big, all these other ideas will come and bury them, and then suddenly you say, oh, I had this idea once, So your idea has to be big, so you don't forget it, because you forget it for sometimes during the road. You have this big idea, you start doing your thing, and then I don't know, your parents get sick and die. And then for a parenthesis of time, you forget the whole world. You don't know where you are. You forget your dream. You forget your and then you keep on, and then your husband dies, or your best friends die, and they'll have another parenthesis where everything stops. And you always have to get yourself back to that big dream. Mm-hmm. And if it's not big enough, it will not resurface again, Mm-hmm. And I think when I think of my essence, of the fact that I'm still the one who I am from the beginning, it's because my dream, my essence and my dream are one in a way,
Yeah, because your dream is also your life project.
It's a life project. It's my energy. It's what I get up in the morning for.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm sick of doing it, and I do something else, And then I not very long, not very long, but it happens, Yeah. You need to you need to live also. And it was interesting to say, what is my daily life? Where do I belong? And at one point I wanted friends. I've been living with families who have friends. I have neighbors, and they get together. I wanted to try that. I wanted to try this life, neighboring life with. No, it's not for me.
Yeah. No. Are you still traveling?
I tried it.
Are you still traveling out, living with families, or have you stopped that now?
I did it. I did it last year. I was in Azerbaijan last year, and I do hope by beginning 2022 that I'll be able to start Central America, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and I want that. I'm going to need an assistant in my needs. I'm going to need an assistant. At my age now, I don't want to do it I don't want to do it by myself anymore. Because in Azerbaijan, I was an Airbnb, you know, 5 floors without an elevator with my luggage and everything. I said, no. Next time I need an assistant.
Helene, you told me before we started that you are 70 years old. Is that right?
Yeah.
It is almost unbelievable to think that you still have this energy and you still want to continue. You're not even fit. You have plans for next year and continue. I'm so amazed of you, and I'm really impressed. I have to be honest. I'm impressed, and you give a lot of energy on to others. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I take care of myself. I train 3 times a week, and I take care of myself inside out. You know, le cœur, l'esprit et l'âme, le corps, l'esprit et l'âme too. So that is very, very important. You got to take care of your physical situation, your soul, your spirit. You cannot let any part of you stay aside because you're living something else. And so that is, for me, I think that is the secret. I do it differently. I respect who I am physically, emotionally, and then it's like until death do us part, you know. It's that phrase is not for a man, you know. This phrase is for our passions, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, with those words, I will say thank you so much for your time and for sharing your stories. And again, I cannot wait to follow your stories from the families, and I urge everybody to do the same. And then we will post your interview probably in April, I think. And all your websites and everything will be on the interview, so people can find you. And so you know, we talked about it. So you do a lot of things for other people. What can we do for you? Let's meet on Earth.
Yeah. Well, I guess I said. I think I said it. I think I need a team. You know, I need. I'd like not to be alone anymore, because I'm doing it. I'm doing too much by myself. I think I've reached the point where I cannot do it anymore all by myself, you know.
Okay.
At the same time, when I am by myself, I do what I can, and I just keep on, and then it goes at the speed what I can do, you know. So I also made peace with the speed and the time it takes, because I was alone. I did not have the finance for a team. And it's like the chicken and the egg, you know. I need someone to come and figure out how we can make money with this in a way, you know, so that I can pay the salary of someone else. The thing is, I need someone to help me find the way to pay someone else. To structure it and everything. But it's so that's what I need the most. And the content, all the web, all the bringing all this information into digitalize and bring that information.
Then I hope we will find someone for you, or someone will find you through the interview.
But again, I hope someone finds me.
Thank you so much, and it has been such a pleasure. I'm filled up with the joy and energy and yes, life.
Wonderful.
It's great.
Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. You too. Good day. And let's stay in touch. Okay. Thank you so much.
Let's stay in touch. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Me too. Thank you too.